dream to see every single one of you here today, fighting to close this hellhole down. If there's anything that we can learn from Barry's life, it's that one of the greatest strengths our movement has is our unwavering compassion and determination to fight for liberation. All around the world, more and more people are standing up against the abusers and taking back the lives and freedom of our fellow animals. In the UK alone, right now as I speak, there are thousands of activists battling for change. These brave individuals are out sabotaging hunts, holding demonstrations and planning direct action. All of these courageous people are willing to sacrifice their time and in some cases their own freedom to save others. But considering the scale of the exploitation and violence being perpetrated by the animal abuse industries, it's no surprise that so many of us have been driven to take action, driven to do everything that we can to end the suffering. And if there's one campaign that offers a perfect example of the dedication and power that our movement can have, it's SHAC. Over the past decade, this campaign has proven time and time again that it will not be silenced and it will not be stopped. Ever since the first major expose of Huntingdon Life Sciences back in '99, when Channel 4 went undercover for the documentary It's a Dog's Life, the true reality of the cruelty inside this lab has stirred hundreds of people all around the world into joining the fight to close them down. I myself remember watching that documentary and seeing the footage of those beautiful, innocent beagle puppies being shouted at, violently shaken and punched in the face. They were laughed at when they cried out or struggled against their tormentors. I remember seeing those images and being horrified that this kind of sickening abuse is being committed, all for the blood money profits of rich corporations and our morally bankrupt government. Back then, I made a promise to those animals that I would not let their deaths be forgotten. The same as I will not forget the deaths of the 500 victims who continue to be murdered inside that laboratory every single day. And now, looking at what this campaign has achieved and is still achieving, it's clear that I am not alone in making that promise. Since the campaign began, we have had an incredible effect upon this company. It's amazing to think that a group of compassionate people have been powerful enough to have forced the largest contract animal testing laboratory in the whole of Europe to its knees. The campaign against HLS has been so relentless, so fueled with determination, that this company, which was once worth over 500 million, is now in debt of well over 100 million. As the public and other businesses have continued to learn the truth about this filthy laboratory, an increasing number of companies continue to make the right, ethical and business decision to cut their ties with them. Nobody wants to be dragged down with this dying company. And because of this, businesses. What sort of a company can't even get a high street bank to do business with them? Over recent months, we've seen them suffer yet another massive financial blow as Fortress Investment Group retracted a multi-million-pound loan, which was said to be their last desperate attempt at lifeline financing. And following that, during the past few weeks, within days of their involvement with this laboratory being exposed, two more suppliers, Softcat Limited and Billy Bowie, have also issued statements confirming that they stopped dealing with the lab and will never do business with them again. I could go on talking about HLS financial troubles, but the bottom line is they are on their way out. It's almost laughable that a pathetic company like this, who've made it unquestionably clear that they care about nothing other than making money, can't even manage to do that. But that's what happens when a company chooses profit over lives. When people think they can make money from the torture and death of innocent individuals, the animal rights movement will be there to stop them. And we will stop them. We will close down HLS. It's just a matter of time now, because if there's one thing that they can be sure of, it's that the campaign will never give up until their disgusting business is finished off for good. Although we face numerous attempts by the vivisection industry, the government, and their mindless lackeys, the police, to stop us, we are still here, we are still active, and we are still committed. They've tried imprisoning activists, but years later, after many of those activists have now been released, they can see the campaign is continuing to destroy this company. Because when people are this motivated and this passionate about liberating the oppressed, their anger and their dedication will always prove stronger than any corrupt laws. With HLS in its current financial state, the focus has turned to its major customers, the loss of two of which will prove irreparable. As one of their largest customers, the discredited pharmaceutical company AstraZeneca has been a top target. Over the past year, AstraZeneca have been demoed at its offices, the offices of its shareholders, and at dozens of pharmaceutical conferences. Activists have been inside their offices, telling workers where their profits really come from. They've been on the stage of conferences, interrupting talks being given by AstraZeneca's greedy executives, naming and shaming them in front of hundreds of industry professionals. And through it all, the message has been clear. Drop HLS, stop paying for animals to be tortured and murdered, or deal with Shaq. Huntingdon Sciences is the most exposed animal testing laboratory in the entire world, with another expose showcasing scientific failures and animal abuse being released on almost a yearly basis. And so, as a final thought, I ask you all now to think about what we saw in one of the most recent ones, the expose by ADI. During this expose, they documented primates who were so frightened and so terrified of what was being done to them that they suffered nosebleeds, repeatedly prolapsed, and vomited their own feces. Think about the immense fear that they must have been feeling to react like that. And then use your sadness, your anger and frustration, and get active for the animals who are still dying inside HLS today. Get active and take back their freedom. Every single one of you has the power to save lives, but to do that, we must stand up and fight for them. Now is not the time for excuses or for waiting for someone else to change the world. As Barry Horne once said, if you don't act, then you condone. If you don't fight, then you don't win. And so now, it is time for each of us to take action